Fighting the good fight.
Oh, always, man. I sometimes feel like I'm just hanging on for dear life, man.
No kidding, right?
How about you?
Yeah, yeah. I am enjoying this weather, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Summer's
looking forward to a nice summer off.
for sure, for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah, I'm a summer guy.
yeah, ditto. I'm also a winter guy though, man. I love a good cold. I love a good shitty snowy road.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Not me.
I know most people are like,
Other than hockey, that's my only escape, and NFL.
yeah. Do you go to much CFL?
I do not. I don't like the game, to be honest. It's like
Really? It's not that much different. Come on, the field's bigger,
the
more.
field's too big,
There's
and
more downs.
yeah, you need another down for sure. You
Yeah.
know, yeah, but yeah, I mean it's training ground for the NFL, I suppose.
I guess if anything, sure. Yeah, I'm going to the game on Saturday. Looking forward to that. Got some buddies in tow. Going to get pretty shitty drunk, I think. So it'll be fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you go to the home opener or
No, this is my first of the game of the season.
with Snoop Dogg or whatever?
Yeah. No, I was at the. What did I do that night? Was it the same night as the Vancouver or the Abbotsford Canucks? I think it might have
It
been.
might have been, yeah.
Yeah, I went to that. I went to game six where they clinched it and went into the
Oh, cool.
playoffs. So I was at that with my kid James.
Well, that's all tied up now, isn't it?
It is, yeah, man. That was a really interesting uh,
Yeah,
overtime with Buddy scoring on himself,
I know.
and then they overturned it.
I know.
And apparently, they shouldn't have overturned it because it's up to like
The
the
centerman.
yeah to make sure like look back, your tender's ready, he's not ready. Like,
Yeah,
bro, fucking
for,
hold on a sec.
for
Like,
sure.
yeah, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, they only got something like 13 or 14 shots too, man. Like,
Is that right? Yeah.
yeah, I would love to see Abby take it, and maybe based on Shelov's just sheer grit, determination, and just an outstanding goaltender, maybe they actually have a shot.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get to it, my friend.
Yeah.
So you released your book in December,
That's right. Yep.
and so it's called the Doomsday Flight.
Yep.
Before which is based on a true story as well.
Yep.
Um, before we get like kind of into the nitty gritty of it with your dad and all that, like how long did are you a long time writer, or like how long did this take for you to write this?
So this is my first book. Um, I actually wrote a screenplay first. My grandmother, my dad's mother, she kept a scrapbook of and stuff, all the newspaper clippings she could find. There's like articles from the Canadian magazine, and this is just stuffed full of memorabilia about the ordeal.
Yeah.
And stumbled over it when I was a little kid, and then I stumbled upon it again fairly recently, and I thought, why doesn't anybody talk about this? Because it's just a crazy little piece of Canadiana, and I'm a real big fan of Mayday. I don't know if you know Mayday air crash investigation.
Hmm.
Kind of like a Law and Order. The crash is the first half hour of the show, and then the investigation and the outcome is kind of the second half of the show. And I thought I'd reach out to the directors there. I reached out to quite a few people until one of the directors there, Tim Wallachadiak, he does like I think 7 of the Mayday shows, and he really liked the story, and he's like, but I need a screenplay, and I'm a bit of a movie buff, and I was like, how hard can it be, you know? So I wrote a screenplay, fully formatted the proper way and everything, and
Wow.
that took me about 2.5 years,
Okay.
just picking away at it, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And so that was done in the summer of 2024, which my dad sadly passed in July last year.
Mm.
Uh, but he was able to read it, and he gave it his stamp of approval, and I was happy with that. That
Yeah, because I mean, you got to have this. You got to give the thumbs up. Like,
right,
Dad's got to, you know.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I have friends, and my stepbrother, he's a captain on a 777, and so I was able to bounce, radio calls past them. What would they say in this situation, or whatever, to the. It's a lot of ATC chatter in the story, and so, as you know, the film and TV industry has had a real downturn in the last couple of years here, especially in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Um, and so I didn't see much traction. Tim got busy and he had too much on his plate. He actually helped me edit it, but as it stands now, he doesn't. He isn't able with a screenplay, but
Mm-hmm.
got commitments with Mayday, so. And it's not a Mayday story. You have to have a crash, basically, in Mayday, or an accident, right? So once I saw I wasn't getting, I didn't really push it on CBC, and which I should still, and possibly even speak. Um, they need Canadian content as well. So
Well, like you say,
I
this is Canadiana. Like we should know.
totally,
Like when you were like, "Oh, my dad and at Flight 812," and I was like, I literally had to fucking. I was like,
yeah,
"Yeah, bro," and then like, I was like, "Holy shit! Your dad was a pilot, and
yeah,
a plane got hijacked.
yeah.
Like what?"
So I decided to turn it into a book, 'cause I had it all laid out, and so with a little help from AI, I fleshed out my screenplay into a book, and now it's basically everywhere you buy books. Amazon
Yeah.
has, um, you order a copy, 2 days later, it's at your doorstep. It's crazy. Printed in Alberta, the ones we get, anyways.
Yeah. Okay.
But
And were you even alive when this happened?
I was one,
Okay.
but yeah, I was actually adopted when I was 5. So this was uh, pre Nels Hagenson dad, who I call dad.
Right.
My natural father was Australian. Um, so yeah, uh, this guy, my dad had a flight in '71 from Vancouver to Montreal, with stopovers in Calgary and Toronto scheduled. And out of Calgary, this fella gets on. His name's Paul Sini, in a big long beige trench coat, and they took off from Calgary. And remember, this is before metal detectors, or they starting to come in
Mhm.
use. Only Vancouver, Toronto, and Montreal had metal detectors. Calgary had.
What
Oh,
what a crazy concept and what a crazy thought. Like
I
what?
know, right? Calgary had a roving metal detector, was my understanding, so it could go to certain gates, but they pretty much only used it on the international gates,
Wow.
from my research. But anyway, this guy security with a sawed-off shotgun and 54 sticks of dynamite on his person in a taped-up Woolco shopping bag.
So you said he made it past security with all of that shit?
Yeah, yeah. There was basically no security
Yeah.
for domestic flights. You just
again 1971 here.
Yeah, you just get on. And so he went. He sat in first class. He had a first class ticket, and this is in the age when there was a lounge in the front, where it was basically like a bar almost, between first class and the cockpit. And he had a couple of screwdrivers, which was his poison. And about an hour into the flight, 45 minutes to an hour into the flight, he got up his shopping bag into the lavatory, as they're known, and put on a balaclava, a black balaclava, and a wig forward into the lounge, and waited for the purser, as they're known back then, or steward, a fellow named John Arpin, came forward to check on him, and he had his shotgun out by this time, and he said, "Sit the hell down." It was, yeah, crazy, and John couldn't believe, that this was actually happening. He sat down. A little while later, Mary Dowie, the stewardess, she came forward because he was basically missing, and he had her sit down and had the shotgun up to her temple. He pulled out of this Woolco bag, and had her keep the two wires apart, with her and he told her that if those two wires touch, it's game over. And so he handed John a little yellow piece of paper to give to the captain, which pretty much said, "Head towards Great Falls, Montana. I want $1.5 million, and no funny business, basically, or I'm going to blow this plane sky high." And so
Wow.
they diverted to Great Falls, and on the way to Great Falls, he accidentally discharged the shotgun and hit into the bulkhead between the cockpit and the lounge, and shotgun pellets went scattering all around in the cockpit. Nobody got hurt, and Mary, back then you had to get a degree in nursing in order to become a stewardess. And so Mary, coincidentally, had a degree in psychiatric nursing. So she used her skills to calm this guy down. He was going by a pseudonym, Dennis Monroe. So she was talking to him as though he was Dennis. And she asked if he wanted to hold her hand, and he did. And so he then things went kind of squirrely. He stuffed a piece of dynamite in John's mouth and waved a Zippo open flame in front of the wick and stuff. And there's just all kinds of crazy stuff that happened. And this is the hijacking was like Friday evening, and so they're pushing into Saturday midnight, and no banks are open, and Great Falls isn't like you know a big city or anything. So uh, they had to bank the plane uh, in a very shallow bank around Great Falls, so it seemed like they were still flying to Great Falls. Um, we couldn't get this money together, right? And so they finally got word that the money was available. They landed, and he specified that a female police officer was to bring the briefcase full of his cash. And so they lowered down. They didn't have a rope, but they had an emergency escape strap that they cut and lowered down, which she tied the briefcase to, and they got it in. He gave the briefcase to John Arpin, the steward, and told him to count it. And so he pulled out a barf bag and an accountant himself and a bookkeeper or something. And so when he started counting, sure enough, the case is full of cash. Started counting it, and he realized quickly that the bundles of cash had hundreds and fifties sandwiched around ones and fives. So the bundles said,
That's funny business. He said
yeah,
the funny business, you know, like
yeah. So
wow.
he chicken scratched out these figures on this barf bag, and got it to total 1.5 million. He said, "So how much is there?" Yeah, it's 1.5 million. He said, "Count it again." So he counted it again, and sure enough, yeah, he believed him. So took off again, and just like 15 minutes out, he didn't believe all of a sudden that they were actually at Great Falls. He never saw the Great Falls sign. So we wanted to go back and see that they were actually at Great Falls. And then Mary coerced him into letting the passengers off. She touched on how told there was kids in the back, and that was enough for it. She's like, "You got your money. Just let the passengers go." So back to Great Falls, all the passengers got off. He said to her, "Do you want to go?" And she's like, "No, I'll stay with you." She said, "Do you want me to go, Dennis?" And he said, "No, I'd like you to stay." She said, "Then I'll stay." So she stayed, and most of the crew stayed. Um, Took off again, and said, "Okay, I want to go to New York." And then like they started going towards New York, and then 15 minutes later he was like, "No, I want to go to Phoenix." And then they changed their course for Phoenix, and then finally he said, "Take me back to Calgary. Somebody else is going to get on." And anyways, the guy was
Yeah, like, hey, dude, we don't have unlimited gas here, you know?
totally right. And so anyways, I will preface that by, when they were on the ground, he needed them to get his suitcase out of the hold. He had this blue suitcase, and he got John Arpin to do it. Gave him the baggage claim check, and said, "You got 10 minutes to get that, or I'm going to blow Mary's head off." So for 10 minutes, he got back in like 11 minutes or something like that. Like Mary basically said, "You don't want to hurt me, do you?" Like he was pretty serious about it. But anyways, he got his check bag and opened this check bag up, and inside he had a parachute wrapped up tightly with twine, and he he figured out what escape door he wanted to drop out of. There's a conversation with the captain about what would work best, going over the wing and this and that, and anyways, he couldn't undo this twine, and he got them to drop to 3,000 feet and at 120 wilderness basically, and he asked for a knife. He's like, we don't have like a sharp knife. He said, the captain said, I've got a safety axe up front. He's like, okay, bring me the safety axe. So by this time he had all the crew in the back, except for my dad was flying the plane, and he handed him the axe, and he put his shotgun down for a split second, and the captain, his name was Eamon, he came the aisle and grabbed the axe and got the other comers to, and he just went animal, like ballistic, like, and they started pounding him in the head with the blunt side of the axe, and he wouldn't go down. And he was reaching for dynamite in his pockets, saying, I'm going to blow all of you up, expletives left and right. And finally, they got a hold.
Oh, your audio just cut off there for the last 5 seconds. Whoa.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, they finally got a hold of him and hit him in the head with the handle.
Yeah, got that.
Yeah,
and he's going crazy. He's got a minute. Okay.
And they knocked him out, and then
wow,
tied him up in the chair with gray duct tape while he was unconscious. Basically looked like a mummy, pretty much. And yeah, that they got back safe and sound to Calgary. The airport was actually closed. It was fogged in, and so they had to they were running out of fuel too, so they had to make this crazy foggy landing too, and they did it. And RCMP came on and took them off. They took the suitcase because they didn't know what else was in it, and blew it open. And he had a pair of goggles with extra lenses, sheepskin rope, a 5-band transistor radio, a flashlight, hiking boots, water canteen, plastic bag filled with clothes, 2 Air Canada schedules, a collapsible shovel, a map of the world, photographs of parachute jumpers, bag of chocolate bars, paperback copies of Airport and Hijacked, another gun, a 30 caliber U.S. Army issue folding carbine, and ID cards in the name of Dennis A. Monroe. And so, yeah, he got sentenced to 4 life terms for hijacking, 14 years for extortion, and 10 years for illegal possession of dynamite and a prohibited weapon. While he was awaiting trial, he was remanded to the Ponoka Mental Hospital, which is like, I think it's between Edmonton and Red Deer, something like that. And in the middle of winter, he escaped through a bathroom window in the middle of the night, wearing only those light blue scrubs and slippers. We made it about an hour down the highway towards Red Deer in 20 below weather on the highway, and the RCMP recaptured him, shivering and begging to be taken back to the warmth of the hospital.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah. So then, yeah, Mary Dowie, she became the first living recipient of the Cross of Valor, which is uh, highest honor for. She was given it to by both Queen Elizabeth and Pierre Trudeau at the time, the Prime Minister. And she stayed on as a flight attendant until 91, had PTSD, but dealt with it. The purser, John Arpin, he got the Star of Courage, and the captain, Vernon Eamon, he was awarded the Medal of Bravery, the second and third highest awards Canada can bestow for bravery.
A wild story.
So, yeah.
Like when did this make your radar, and when did you like how old were you when you started to actually talk about it and like found out about it and recognized how crazy it was?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much right away, as soon as, my dad told me the story, and I had this scrapbook, and it kind of just got put into storage, and again until um, just recently when I was thinking like nobody's ever talked about this. I think it really should be, even a CBC special or something like that.
Sure.
Yeah. So I was
Dude, it's
like,
riveting. My literally my palms are sweaty
yeah,
just
right.
listening to you talk about it.
Yeah, yeah, crazy, crazy story for
It
sure.
is the craziest story. And of course, like, through, saying like, dude, you should come on and tell this story on the podcast.
Yeah,
You started talking about the Air India flight that just crashed. And
yeah,
you were saying like for the one that was supposed to go from like London to Mumbai or whatever it was.
yeah, yeah.
And you were saying that that's like one of the biggest and one of the most like disastrous aviation events since
That's
like
right.
9/11.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. I think somewhere in the neighborhood of 275 casualties. Um, so yeah, that's as amazing that guy survived. I can't
Yeah.
believe it. I mean, after seeing that footage, um, one of my one of my other friends, he's a captain on a 777, and I said it seems like it was a dual engine failure, and he's like, it just doesn't happen. It does not happen. But they're showing that the little rat dropped from underneath the fuselage, and the rat is a little turbine that drops when both engines flame out, so that they can power the hydraulics and the systems and stuff when both engines aren't going, and there you can see it on the one piece of footage. So who knows? Maybe both engines did flame out,
No,
but
I mean, it's one of those things of like it doesn't happen, but it doesn't mean it can't
exactly right.
happen, right? So, dude, you're not an author. We know that you're a computer consultant, and
That's
it's
right.
for, did I
Yeah.
read this right? A flight simulator systems?
Well, I do build flight simulator systems. I was for years the IT guy for the flight sim club down at the senior center here in West Van.
Oh,
And
okay.
but I've helped guys with some crazy rigs. One guy's got literally an Omnimax in his basement. It's two projectors that are spliced together with full Cessna 172 seating that has bass subwoofers underneath it to mimic the engines and all this stuff, and all the real gear dual yokes, and yeah, so these new like Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, and now they have 20. Um, You need to, to run it properly, you need about a $2,500 computer minimum sort of thing.
Wow.
You want all the details and like it's crazy. Every street in the world's in it. Like you can see your home. You can fly over your home. You'll land on the street in front of your house if you want in a helicopter. It's pretty cool. So yeah.
So are you excellent at the Top Gun video game, like Afterburner? Or are you just like,
The old Afterburner. Yeah, I remember that one.
yeah, yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Or back in the day when you actually went to arcades and
That's right.
video games sucked at that
Oh
time. That's why you
yeah.
had to go to the
Oh,
arcade, you know?
I loved them. Yeah, no, I was a big. Well, my old store Interaction computers in North Van. We were the biggest video game store.
Hmm.
We custom built systems and we did all the Nintendo and PlayStation and all that kind of stuff. But I've been getting back into pinball.
Oh yeah, there's
Vancouver's got some great pinball pubs. The I was just at the on Saturday with my son and wife at Library Square.
yeah,
They have 10
yeah,
and played the Foo Fighters game. It's amazing. You got to soup up your van to the pinball machine. You can choose what track you're listening to. It's got a little cassette selection, and then you got to get abducted by aliens in your van, and that's multi-ball and stuff.
love it. I used to go across. I used to live up in Terrace, northern BC, and we would always like, my buddies. I wasn't a smoker at the time, but my buddies would always want to jump across the street and have a smoke at this little convenience store, but also had like some stand-up video games and a bunch of like pinball and shit, right? But
Mhm.
like almost daily, I'd play 8 ball deluxe,
Oh yeah,
slap a few quarters in, play some pinball between classes and shit. So good.
for sure, for sure.
Yeah. Well, let's get into other parts of your life as well, Mark. While I got you
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
what were you listening to as a kid? Like, what were your parents playing and stuff around the house? Were you being influenced by in that
My,
regard?
my mom, she passed away when I was 11, but her vinyl collection included CCR, Cat Stevens, Jimi Hendrix. I think the sort of cool rock of the
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
But yeah, I've always been a fan of of mostly hard over the years, and I listen to some yacht rock here and there now. So
well, who doesn't?
yeah,
We're at
yeah,
that age now,
yeah,
but like
yeah,
now we're at like, yeah, that
totally.
sounds just about right. Crack a
Yeah, right.
beer. And so like music played a pretty big part in your life then?
Yeah, I actually I bartended at a little hole in the wall in West Van called Sandy Cove uh,
Mm,
for a couple of years, which was the go-to place for live bands. This was in the early '90s when grunge was in the heyday. We were just switching over from Guns N' Roses to Nirvana and Pearl Jam and all that, and we had a band on the North Shore called Mushroom Trail, who they got signed by LSD and were on A&M, and I really thought they were going to go places, but it just kind of fizzled out. Alice in Chains vein kind of thing. Had another couple of Big Tall Garden and Upper Levels, both of which are doing a double bill, which is sold out at Wild Eye Brewing on the shore. That's going to be a blast from the past. Those are going to be all the old Sandy Cove people. So
oh,
that'll
that's
be
cool.
fun. But I've got a kit in the basement, and I've got an Ibanez and a Vox amp, and I'm a hack. You know, sit on
Yeah,
the deck with the acoustic guitar and sing along.
yeah, who doesn't, right?
Yeah.
And so what was your first concert that you went to with your folks?
uh, I never went to any concerts with my folks. No,
Huh.
my first concert was going to be Platinum Blonde at UBC, and my dad caught me blowing bottle rockets off out of my bedroom window, and I wasn't allowed to go. So I can't actually remember what my first concert was.
That's hilarious, dude. Blowing off bottle rockets, like, dude, you're not going anymore. You're
No,
done.
I know. I'm like, damn.
That's too
Um,
much.
yeah. But what I started doing recently as well is making T-shirts online, and I was like, I got one here. I'll probably send you one of these. I think you'll like this.
Next to you.
Right?
My
Since
God.
1970.
That's hilarious. My kid goes,
That was the year I was born.
yeah,
I'm still waiting.
I'm a
Yeah,
73.
yeah,
And my kid this year, he just turned 15. He goes like, oh, I'm just so sick of the Canucks losing all the time. I'm like, dude, think about it. Like I've been doing the same shit as you, but for 35 years longer.
yeah, yeah.
Like always next year.
Yeah.
Do you go to many games?
I don't, I'm just I
It's
go.
so expensive, right?
It's
Like,
so expensive. Like, yeah, if a beer for $20, come on, what are you talking about? There's no way.
yeah. Well, that's
At
why
home there,
you need to slip a 3-4 back before you get in there, and then you're fine, right?
that's
Like
true. That's
catch
true.
the
Then
catch,
it, but
catch the early buzz.
but then you got to go to the bathroom, and then you're waiting in line at the bathroom. There's no bathroom waits at my place, and
And the beers
that's
are $2. Like
beers are cheap, and the best seat in the house in 4K. It's like you're looking out of a window.
nice.
So yeah.
What are you binge watching lately?
What have we been binge watching? We just finished Last of Us season 2.
Oh, it's so good. Hey?
That was really good. My buddy worked on that. Um,
Oh, did he really?
yeah. Um,
What was he doing for that series? Because a lot of it was actually filmed here in
and
Vancouver.
was the Brutalist um, with Adrian Brody. He won Best Actor.
Oh, okay, The Brutalist.
The Brutal
Okay.
Prime now, I think. But it's 3.5 hours long. There was actually an intermission when it was in the theater.
Wow.
Uh, but so far so good. But so yeah, we treat those longer movies as a mini series almost.
Yeah, truly. Like we're starting to rewatch the Harry Potter
Oh, okay.
series, but they're
Yeah.
so long that it's like we get like halfway through. I'm like, okay, boys, you ready? Like we'll just pause it here. We'll pick it up tomorrow.
All right. Huh?
Just almost too long, right? You get like 2:45, 3 hour long movies. Like I can't
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
My attention span just not there anymore.
Yeah. You saw that How to Train Your Dragon, eh? That was
Yeah, I saw that. That's
sick.
definitely worth seeing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. 98%, you said the Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah. Rotten Tomatoes audience score, highest live action animated feature audience score.
Wow.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's not a surprise. Great movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so you can pick up the Doomsday Flight anywhere pretty much for ebooks and all that, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazon and it's actually was admitted to the North Shore Writers Collection for the libraries here on the North Shore. So it's going to be prominently featured in the fall on their North Shore Writers section. So
Yeah,
that's cool.
that is very cool. And so for the people that want the hardcover, like the straight up, like give me the book.
Yeah.
What's the website for that?
That'll be Amazon.
Oh,
Amazon.
it's just straight through Amazon. Okay.
Amazon.ca. You get the book, the paperback, the hardcover.
Yeah, okay. I thought you might have had
Uh,
like a,
yeah.
markhagenson.com or,
No, I have registered the doomsdayflight.com, so we'll probably do something with that at some point.
yeah,
But
but up
yeah,
until then,
you get
Amazon.
the ebook there, and the Audible book is there as well. I'm just in a kind of a back and forth with Amazon. The paperback says it's large print, but it's not large print on the Canadian website. For some reason, they can't just change it on the Amazon.com marketplace. It doesn't say large print, but so if you're thinking of picking up the paperback, $12.99, it's not large print on Amazon.ca.
Yeah. A little heads up for you.
Yeah.
Okay, beauty. Mark, I'll grab those pictures off you eventually. So we're going to try, give me like a week or so to kind of get this chippity chopped up, and we'll start throwing your story around, man. What a fucking, like, literally my hands were just like sweating as you're telling it, man.
Awesome, dude.
It's so good. Good to see you, buddy. And
you too.
We'll tag you when we're chucking this stuff around.
Sounds good.
And come to one of my shows, buddy.
Yeah, I will. I know. You keep inviting me. I feel bad. I mean, it's one of those things in North Shore. There's the running joke. I think there's a C-bus meme about guys. I coaxed my friend shore, and it was Bilbo and Frodo.
This is the farthest I've been from home.
This is the farthest from home. Yeah. I did want to go to that Wide Mouth Mason dudes a couple years ago. I like them.
Oh, Sean Burrow, yeah, he's solid. He's done like 3 or 4 over the years, and like every time you're just like gobsmacked at just how impressive he really is.
Yeah, right on.
Sweet, buddy. Okay, well, have a great night. Good to talk to you, and
man. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.